Your past is a gift. So what happens when you go into the world, okay, and these things have happened to you in your childhood, in your past, and you've decided something about yourself from these events, whatever decision that may be. In some way, you're not good enough. That's usually what it comes down to. In some way you haven't measured up. You're not good enough. And so what happens is you go into your day, your daily routine, out into the world, and you react to other people. You know, if you're in a queue, for example, and you're waiting for a coffee and someone cuts in front of you, they're in a hurry for whatever reason, okay, you react. Usually, in my case, I would react with anger, because my first, instinct would be, am I invisible? Do you not see I'm standing here? And so my anger would flare up instantly. You're in traffic, you're driving along and you're trying to get in and nobody lets you in. They keep cutting you off and not allowing you to merge into the traffic. And again, you're in your car and you get frustrated and you get angry and, bad words start coming out the window and, all these things, because we keep reacting to the world based on what we've decided about ourselves. Now, in previous videos, I have talked about the fact that my sister was born when I was 5 years old. And what happened with that event, what I took away from that event, was that I was no longer wanted by my mum. I had suddenly become invisible. Okay, she didn't want me anymore. She didn't want to spend time with me anymore. And the baseline was she didn't love me anymore. That's what I took out of that event. Now, at no time did she say any of these things to me, my mother. She never said any of these things to me. I decided all of this from the fact that my sister was now born and she was spending all of her time with my sister. Because new baby requires a lot of time. And my mum did the same for me 5 years before, but I couldn't remember all that. So here I was at 5, feeling cast aside. Like, and I wasn't included in any of her activities, which made me feel even more cast aside and unwanted, by my mum. And so I spent a good part of my life feeling unwanted and invisible, and there'd be parts of my life where this would flare up and I would do the opposite. I'd be very loud and I'd want to be visible, but it's affected everything in my life. It's affected all my relationships, how close you let people get or how much you don't let people get close, because they're just going to cast you aside. This is what I'd already decided about the world, that you can't rely on love. You're just going to be tossed aside once something new comes in. Sometimes things happen to us and we decide things about ourselves and they've got nothing to do with what someone else says or does. It's just what we decide in that moment. And somehow we're not good enough, for this person's love. So I want you to think about that today when you're going out into the world, your reactions to things, because I know for most of it I was quite angry and I see it all the time in everyone else. Their anger flares up and they'll tell people off, for cutting them off or cutting in line or all sorts of things that people, will do to each other. And it's really, you've got to think of why you're reacting that way. What decision did you make about yourself that makes you react in that way? Or did you go through something similar that made you very sad, that you were cast aside, that you felt invisible? We tend to react or take it on in different ways. Different people will take on different feelings to protect them. Mine was anger. My anger was what protected me my whole life from feeling that hurt ever again. For others, it might be that sadness. They might withdraw. It might make them so sad that they were cast aside. And so this is the way they'll react. This is the way you might react instead. Or you might have created a fear around it. You know, that you can't rely on love, that it's going to be taken away. And so you're afraid out in the world to get close to anybody because they're just going to toss you aside. There's so many different ways that we try to protect ourselves from not having to feel that pain again. So think about that today. I want you to think about how you react to the world, how you're interacting with the world. And then start to really look at, why do you think you're reacting that way? Where is it coming from? This is what we're trying to get to. Where is it coming from? All right, my darlings? Remember to click like and subscribe below so you don't miss any of the messages, because it might be the most important one for you. And please share, because sharing is caring. So leave me some comments below and let me know, how do you react to others in the world? Love to hear it. All right, my lovelies. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.